choose.com. Nobody's looking at it yet. 0, 0.
Wait, what? 0 likes. How would you do it?
What do you think about making the volume louder?
As far as like listening to it,
What do you goes? You want to
this one makes it louder. The top one here. So
I know, bro.
you log in there. Go
Yeah.
ahead and log in. Here comes Brent.
Flowers.
Okay, we can talk about the church. Yeah. Got one person.
Who's that?
There you go. I remember the flower day. They have flowers up there. I don't remember.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Swannanoa Valley. I'm Rose Levering, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. We're a welcoming congregation committed to supporting one another in our search for a spiritual meaning and community. In Unitarian Universalism, you can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, your expansive heart. Together we create a force more powerful than one person or one system. We don't have to check our personal background and face up the world. We like to say that we don't have to think alike. If you're new to UU, I encourage you to take note of our mission statement, which is printed on the front of the order of service. We also work together to promote and practice the 8 principles, which are also printed in the order of service. Not sure what to do.
Rose, get closer to the mic.
Get closer.
Yeah.
No, everybody, okay. It's our tradition to welcome first and second time visitors and those who haven't been here in a while. Would you please stand if you're comfortable, introduce yourself, and tell us where you're from. Anyone on this side? No one on this side? Yes. Hi.
Hi, my name is Robertson Work. I live in Swannanoa. I'm a writer and activist.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Kay Holtzinger. I actually live down the street and around the corner.
Great. Welcome.
I'm Robert Tynes. I'm a member of 3 years, so it's great to be back, and yeah.
My name is Rayonna Star, and I've just come a couple of times, and I am searching for a spiritual home, and I keep coming back, and there's 3 things I look for. Am I aligned with the message and the minister? Do I like the energy, and are people friendly? I just stand out in the lobby and see if people walk in. So here's a challenge for you. And so far, without any of you knowing that, you keep causing me to come back.
Anyone on this side?
One more back here, Rose. One more back here.
Sorry, please.
Hi, my name is Ed James. My wife Sally and I are here from Santa Cruz, California. We're here to see our daughter-in-law, son, and our grandchildren. And our daughter-in-law is Alison Adams. She's singing here today, so we're here to see her performance as well as hang out with you lovely people. Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Welcome. Sounds pretty, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm David. This is our second time here, but this is Desmond's first time here.
It's the second time, actually.
Okay, no. We're staggering turns.
We're new members. So
One more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, I'm Judy. I'm here from Louisiana for a week. I belong to a Universalist church in Lacombe, Louisiana. It's a small rural church. And we're here because my friend lives here, Catherine. So it's nice to join you.
Hello.
I'm in the same entourage. I live in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Anyone else? Anyone on this side?
The only ones on the side.
Hi, I'm Evan Martin.
Amanda Martin and our daughter Tuesday.
Well, hello there.
We live on the street.
Yeah, we just live down the block and I'll say hi.
Anyone else?
I'm just visiting from my sister from DC. I'm Sandy. Hi.
Sandy. Welcome to everyone. If you're interested in learning more about us, or you'd like to receive our newsletter, or find out how you can be more involved in this community, there's a white card in the back of your local service, or there's some on the table in the foyer just outside next door. We encourage you to fill out the card, leave it on the front table, that same table, so that we can get in touch with you. I have one announcement. Save the date. The congregational yard sale is back. We haven't done it for several years. And just a short announcement from Sue Hurley that it's Saturday, June 3rd. We need all your unwanted, we have that stuff, household items, electronics that are in good working order, tools, clothing, shoes, and jewelry. Items can be dropped off on Sunday, May 28th, after the service, and Monday, May 29th through Thursday from 11 to 6 p.m. Be there. It's our practice to acknowledge with respect that the land that we stand on today is the ancestral home of the Cherokee and other indigenous people. The Cherokee, through stewardship, understanding, and conservation, survive and thrive on this land. We acknowledge their enduring connection to the homeland. And now, please make sure your cell phones are silenced so our service may begin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. There's a beautiful bouquet out here. So I'm going to begin this very quickly. The words of Annie Dillard. We are here to abet creation and to witness to it, to notice each other's beautiful faces and complex nature, so that creation need not play to an empty house, which we certainly do have this morning. Thank you, Diane. So, we have a treat this morning, and so I will let you do the honors. Susan Enright Hicks, our Director of Religious Education.
Good morning. So as you enter the sanctuary this morning, you perhaps were offered a tiny piece of paper and a pen. If you did not use this opportunity to grab one of those on the way in, please raise your hand so that one of my lovely tiny assistants could bring you one now. I'm going to explain what we're going to do with these.
Oh, surprise.
This morning, of course, is Mother's Day. And Mother's Day comes with it all kinds of fraught feelings for some of us. It's a real day of joy. It's a real day of sadness for people and both ends. And sometimes it can be those things in one. You can feel all kinds of complicated things on a day like today. Many of us had mothers. Some of us had great mothers. Some of us had not so great mothers. Some of us had great mothers we didn't appreciate at all. Some of us are mothers. Others we'd like to be. You know, I think people can just share the thing around. Or they some some of us wanted to be mothers and found that was not in our capacity. And some have adopted mothers either formally or informally, people along your lives that have been that for you. Whatever your relationship with mothering or motherhood, I invite you to take this tiny piece of paper. No, not a very big piece of paper, so as Shakespeare said, brevity is the soul of wit. Just try to put a few words or a small phrase on this piece of paper. That it can be a wish for yourself as a mother. It can be a message to your own mother. It can be a thanks to someone who filled that role in your life, however you want to interpret it. And after we are done here before the children, we're going to collect them all and display them for a little time. And then these have little seeds inside. And so it is my hope that we will find a suitable place to make a tiny mothering plot on the sanctuary campus. If you would like to take your own seed paper home instead, just return it to the basket. And in the meantime, Linda's going to grace us with some thinking. Thank you. But you still want to, we'll just, you can add it to the display after the service. It's perfectly fine. And sorry, apparently the quality of the pens I provided was not stellar. At this time, I'd like to invite any children who would like to join me in the RE space today to rise and
Thank you. Going on peace. Ready? Peace, may us it's nice to have younger energy in the house once in a while, right? So, having said that, would you please rise as you are willing and able and join in singing our opening hymn song, For the Beauty of the Earth, hymn number 21.
Please turn to responsive reading 573 at the back of the hymnal, Mother's Day Proclamation. Arise then, women of this day.
Arise, all women who have hearts, whether your baptism be of water or for years.
Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies.
Our husbands shall not come to us, reeking with carnage, for caresses and applause.
Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience.
We women of one country will be too tender to those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs.
From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm.
The sword of murder is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, nor violence indicate possession.
As men have often forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, let women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of council.
Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead.
Let them then solemnly take counsel with each other as the means whereby the great human family can live in peace.
And each bearing after her own time the sacred impress, not of Caesar, but of God.
A lot of people like that.
Relevant agency. I've been called a lot of things.
No, we had such a thing in this book.
Yeah. Well, I read it every Mother's Day, but somehow when Alison read it, it means a lot.
I got Mother's Day every year. That was the first time I saw it.
Relevant ages. I have to use that. It's beautiful, thank you. This is the time in the service, thank you, Diane, when irrelevant agencies as well as women may come up and share a joy, a concern, a sorrow. And Diane will light your fire as she does every Sunday. And the floor is yours.
If you didn't hear Jim's rude remark, he whispered, stage whisper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of irrelevance. I'm Scott, and I'm lighting a candle of joy for Richard Graham. He's had a challenging couple of weeks, and I just want him to know how much I've appreciated his friendship over the years. What a source of wisdom he was to me when I was self-employed after the meltdown in 2008. And the fact that this bit of attention may irritate him is just a bonus.
Good morning, I'm Deb, and first and foremost, I want to say today is Kim's 70th birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kim. Happy birthday to you.
And then just a brief update. We moved to Gibbons Gerber on the 26th of April. We're still getting settled, as you can imagine. But special thank you to Anna, the packer extraordinaire, and Ray, who helped us move a truck full of stuff to the storage space before the movers even came. That was on a Wednesday, and Friday I learned that there was COVID in Kim's day program, and she came down with it on Saturday. Now, the good news is that she had a very easy time of it, almost no symptoms. And I tested every day for a week and didn't get it. And I guess the good news now is that our condos sold before it even hit the market at above asking and a cash offer.
Larry, my name is Larry Perlman. I have, well, I guess a concern and a sorrow. My sorrow is that as one who was Deb and Kim's neighbor, I no longer have them as neighbors. My concern is for our friend Jessica Thomas. Many of you know she has been diagnosed with cancer. She has started chemo. She has started to lose her hair. And she's also, I have a note here. Well, she's getting over a sinus infection now, which she's very happy about. She has started to experience neuropathy and an upset stomach, but she's very grateful that she has not had any nausea. So she wanted you to know that.
Hello, my name is Lauren, and I wanted to light a candle for my mother today. She lives in Florida, And just about 3 years ago, she had a nonviolent psychotic break, but thankfully she was able to get her medication sorted out, and she's been well and lucid ever since. However, during that time, my brother, who was a new father, got really scared and took out a restraining order against her. She's a wonderful woman, incredible mother. He was just scared and doesn't understand mental illness. And in the 3 years since, he has had 2 babies, 1 girl, 1 little boy that my mother still has not met. So today's a very sorrowful day for her. So if you could just hold her in your hearts, I would greatly appreciate it.
I'm Ron, and being a brother, I have 5 brothers, 6 boys in my family. So light a candle for all those good mothers like mine who took care of 6 boys, and all the rest of you ladies.
I don't try to make my way up there. I'm Ann, and I've talked to you before about my son who has serious mental health problems and physical health problems, and is in California at a nursing home. I had a phone call from Walter, my son. He managed to find a phone, and he managed to find my phone number, and he called me to wish me happy
I'm not going to make my way all the way up front, but my name is Rochelle, and most of you know that I am in the choir and I love to sing, so I have a frivolous joy to share with you, and I don't indulge in those often, but I will share. Deb and I had the privilege of being on a 2-week cruise through the Panama Canal that we just finished late last week, and one of the things that happened on the ship is they have a singing competition. I was doing karaoke, and someone said, "You did sign up for the competition, right?" So I did sign up for the Voice of the Ocean. And on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, I competed against 6 other folks, and with 900 folks in the audience, I got 84% of the vote. So.
For you newcomers, we have a lot of talent in this a lot of characters as well. We have a lot of talent in this congregation. So, for those of you who, for whatever reason, decided not to come up, just know that we keep you in our thoughts and in our prayers and hearts and minds. Thank you, Diane. Speaking of lovely and talented, we have a treat from Alison, Tynes.
It's second Sunday when we have all kinds of special music from our congregation or outside, and today we have Alison Tynes Adams. She's a classically trained soprano and has been singing my own compositions for 18 years. She earned her Bachelor of Music at Guilford College and a Master of Music in Voice Performance from the Peabody Conservatory. Alison spent many years performing and teaching in New York City and then Santa Cruz, California, before moving back home to Black Mountain. She teaches voice at the Black Mountain Center for the Arts and here at the UUCSB, all the time raising a son and a daughter with her husband, Drew Adams. All the music that I'm playing this morning is my own composition, and in our first song, I set to music a text from the Pawnee Sacred Ceremonies, honoring the return of the Great Mother. Although I had permission from the publisher to work with this text, I also wanted direct permission from the Pawnee people themselves. And we were thrilled to get permission with this message from the Pawnee Tribal Council and Cultural Director Herb Adson. Good afternoon, Ms. Metzner. I forwarded your email to Pawnee Nation President Walter Echohawk. We are both honored and thankful that you reached out to us. We would like to grant permission to go forward with your music, with our poem. Respectfully, Herb Adson, Cultural Director, Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma. Thank you, Alison, for helping bring this to life.
even have any fancy words for you. We're just gonna ask for your donation. One Saturday I will get this. I've been doing this for 45 years. No, but it happens. I invite you to join in the spirit of prayer and meditation, and then after that we'll have our time of quiet, and then we will do the sermon. Wow. All right. Yeah. Anyway, this is called Rich Earth. It's by Stephen Schick, and it's from a wonderful little book on meditations called Consider the Lilies. In earth rich with memory, love, and hope, spring is gathering seeds of justice. 1 in a million sinks roots deeply into the damp soil of ancient struggles and grows a giving tree. 1 in a million drives shoots upward through mulch of decaying leaves and wood to sway in stormy winds. 1 in a million grows strong enough to stand in the baking heat oppression in the raging floods of wasted abundance. Outstretched and uplifted branches hold firm the wounded songbird long enough for wings to heal and risk flight again. In forest of glory, dead limbs and tree trunks fall into the rich earth where spring is gathering her seeds of justice. Well, there's a lot of imagery there, wasn't it? Well, now while our minds are one, for this brief moment, I leave you with the eloquence of silence. And so it is. Alison, thank you for being prepared on a moment's notice. And I will have my medication next time. I promise. I want to begin with a reading, actually a quote from Albert Einstein. I want us to walk out of here with some hope. But you gotta walk with me through this Mother's Day vision of healing. Brother Einstein says that a human being is a part of the whole, called by us a universe, a part limited in time and space. He or she experiences him or herself, his thoughts and feelings, as something that is somehow separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few people who are near to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to enhance all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. I've mentioned this to you on Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's at least a lot of you clergy, it's difficult to do Mother's Day sermons, because how many times in Father's Day sermons can you say the same thing over and over again, tweaking it for people who just couldn't stand their mothers were abusive, those kinds of things. So probably next year, all goes well, I'll go back to that theme. But, just trying to include everybody. But I wanted to talk about the mother of all mothers today, which is our Mother Earth. So unless you've been living under a rock, everyone by now knows that humanity is in crises. In crises politically, economically, spiritually, ecologically, any way you choose to look at it. And there are many people who see humanity as close to suicide, on its deathbed, if you will, by way of our own technology and the lack of maturity while using it. Many others see humanity as deserving of the wrath of an angry God or nature's wrath for retribution for our so-called sins. The last several centuries of our science and physics has taught us to see ourselves as separate, human beings, as separate from the rest of nature, and to see the cosmos as a machine, a vast machine, but as a machine. This so-called objective worldview was founded in Greece when philosophers were divided into two schools of thought. That first school of thought, this was about the cosmos and our place in it. One school of thought posited that all of nature, including human beings, was alive and evolving constantly, creating order out of chaos. That's the first school of thought. The second school of thought posited that the so-called real world could only be known through pure reason, not through direct experience. And it was a permanently mechanical world that was perfect, notwithstanding the illusion of order. So this mechanical religious Weltanschauung, or worldview, superseded the older worldview that said nature is conscious, it is alive, and that we are all evolving. And so the mechanistic view up to this day, which is changing, thank goodness, that was the foundation of Western thought. And so philosophers such as Pythagoras, Parmenides, Plato, they held the worldview of nature being a conscious, alive entity. Through Galileo and Descartes and other men of Renaissance translated it into a scientific and technological enterprise. And that's been dominant these many centuries. It's a very Eurocentric view. A lot of Aboriginal people do not adhere to this view of life. My question to you this morning is, what if it had gone the other way? You ever think about that? What if it had gone the other way? What if other philosophers and seers and saints and avatars who saw the cosmos as alive had won the day in Greek thought? In other words, what if modern day science and our view of humanity, suppose it had evolved from organic biology rather than from a mechanical physics? Well, the answer is we'll never know. But with quantum theory, this view is changing, this mechanistic view. For it appears, life has an irony to it, that we were destined to find this biological path eventually for the very technology that we have developed is now making an organic optic of the universe possible. I talk to many people, and right now there's the whole thing with AI, and it's coming. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. But when I dig deeper with this fear of AI, it's almost like money. It's not so much money being good or evil. It's it's the attitude we bring to it. It's our intentionality. When I dig deeper with people who are freaked out that AI and robots and all that, it's coming. But what they're really afraid of is that we as a species don't have the spiritual maturity to deal with the technology that we have. And so the same technology that permits us to reach out into space has also permitted us to begin to see the real nature of our planet and to discover that she is indeed alive and conscious. Needless to say, the implications of this theory it's enormous. We were awed, at least I was, by astronauts reporting from space that the Earth looked like it was breathing. It was a living being. And we as human beings were also struck by the photos of just how beautiful our planet is when the visual images were projected and presented to us. And yet it has taken time for this scientific evidence to accumulate that the Earth is alive rather than simply a planet which sustains life. And many scientists still resist this new perspective and line of thinking because the implications for change in all branches of science, not to mention all of humanity, will be so profound. And I get it. I mean, if you are a professor and you're tenured somewhere and you've spent your life working on a theory of how the world works, or if there's life on other planets, and you start getting this evidence that, whoa, maybe everything I worked on all these years may be wrong. I get it. I get the resistance. But it's either let go or be dragged. The difference between a planet with life on it and a living planet, it may be difficult to fathom initially. Only fairly recently have we become acutely aware that what we are doing to our mother, especially in regards to pollution and the destruction of the environment on which our very lives depend. Waking up to this, well, there's that word, isn't it? Being woke. Waking up, being conscious, being aware. I don't know why it scares people so much. But waking up to this more evolved way of thinking has been an important step toward acknowledging our relationship to the planet and other life forms. And yet somehow we continue to fall short. I guess that's the definition of sin, right? We miss the mark. We continue falling short of recognizing that we are part of a larger entity. It is one thing to be careful with our environment, considering we want to play the long game. But it's another to know deeply that nature, like ourselves, are part of a living organism. It's a desert and a sea between those two perspectives. The earliest, and this is the best way I could explain it when I was researching this, the earliest microbes into which the materials of the Earth's crust transformed themselves, they created their own environment. And these environments, in turn, shape the fate of other species, just as cells create their surroundings and are created by this kind of embryonic development. But as for physiology, we already know, for instance, that the Earth regulates its temperature, just like we do, just like warm-blooded creatures. So guess what? That, to me, smacks of intelligence. That's not just willy-nilly. There's some kind of intelligence. The Earth sustains, it stays within her boundaries that are healthy or life-sustaining, despite how hot the sun gets. Well, we'll see in a couple of decades. But for right now, just say this sounds like intelligence to me. And so just as our bodies continue to renew and adjust the balance of chemicals in our skin, in our blood, bones, and other tissues, so does our planet. Renews and adjusts and balances chemicals in the atmosphere, in our seas, and in our soil. It is obvious that we are not simply studying the mechanics of spaceship Earth, but we are studying the physiology of a living being, self-created, self-maintaining. I mean, that's a miracle. This concept that I'm talking about, you've heard of, this living Earth concept, is called the Gaia principle, after the Earth goddess of early Greek mythology. And so many take this principle as, Michael, it's just a cute metaphor. It's poetic. It's a spiritual metaphor, but it's not a scientific reality. But we're finding out that it truly is. Now, I want to be clear. There are some people who say the name Gaia was intended to suggest that the Earth is a female being or entity, or as a reincarnation of this goddess, this Mother Earth. It wasn't meant to be a new religion, I don't think. But it does mean that we simply need to designate the concept of a living earth in contrast to just a planet with some people on it. We now see the earth, we see her as a single self-creating being that came alive in this whirling dance through space. Its crust was transforming and forming itself into mountains and valleys, and the moisture that was coming from wherever it came from the sky, it started filling up our seas. And so this tale of it's a new mythology we're making for the 21st century. The tale of Gaia's dance is being retold. We're retelling it. I'm retelling it. As we piece together the scientific details of our planet's dance through the cosmos. And so in this context, the evolution of our own species takes on a really, really new meaning of who we are and our place in the cosmos. And so perhaps once we grasp this new scientific reality of our planet and our physiology, maybe we'll change the way we look at our planet and each other. Maybe. From a Gaian point of view or perspective, we humans are, we're like an experiment. We're an experiment. A young tribal species, we can't get along with each other. Who do you sleep with? What color is your skin? The texture of your hair? I mean, this is madness. But in the whole scheme of things, we're still at odds with ourselves and other life forms. Still not having learned to really balance our own dance. Not having, with the rest of our surroundings, with the rest of creation. In 400 years, talking about our society, a certain group of people have destroyed or are destroying the water, the soil, our whole atmosphere in just 400 years. 400 years. This worldview of you and I being separate. Unlike other life forms or species, we are not biologically programmed to know just what to do, but we are an experiment in free choice. Free choice means you can do whatever you want to do. It just means you have to pay the consequences of it. And somehow we forget that there is a reaction for every cause. And it's not personal, it's just the way the world works. And so this leaves us as human beings, when I'm excited about it, it leaves us with enormous potential, powerful egotism, and also a lot of anxiety. It's hard on the nervous system. This is a syndrome that is recognizably adolescent, if it's indeed even that old. Human history may seem tremendously long to us as we study all that has happened to us, but we only know a few thousand years of it. If we have, we've only existed on this planet for a few million years, while our Mother Earth, has been self-creating and evolving for billions of years, and she doesn't need us. She doesn't need us. That's the lovely thing about the day the Earth stood still. Even with Canal Rivers and the government's talking about, well, this is our planet, like we say now. These UAPs are in our airspace. When did it become ours? When? We have scarcely had time to evolve out of our own species' childhood, yet our technology and social evolution has changed so rapidly that we have been pushed into our adolescence. Now, you know what I know, you know what I believe. Perhaps human beings are not the first life forms to have created problems for themselves and for the entire Gaian system, but we are, however. I mean, unless whales or dolphins or other off-world intelligences, the octopus, if they beat us to it in the past, we are the only beings, we're the first Gaian creatures who can understand such problems and to think about them and to solve them by free choice. I don't think we're the first, and there's archaeology that's not fringe that is suggesting that we aren't, but for, just the average person just trying to survive, doesn't have time to think or study those things. We are. In fact, our maturity as a species depends on our accepting the responsibility of our behavioral freedom so that we can work together towards a more healthy planet. Again, I did not say our planet. We haven't earned that right, in my opinion. And so what do we need? We need what? We need humility. We need humility. And we need to be able to accept guidance from other intelligences. Doesn't have to be E.T., could be. But we need to be able to be humble, and that's an important factor, so we can grow the you-know-what up. We gotta grow up. The tremendous problems confronting us now. The inequality of hunger on one side, the overconsumption of resources on the other, the possible irreversible damage to the natural world that we so much depend on. Just as our cells depend on the wholeness of our bodies, we can do this because we created it. It triggers me. If you believe in a God, well, how come God let this happen? Well, God didn't do this, we did it. It's immature to say, well, can someone else come and clean up for us? These problems have become so enormous that many people think we won't even be able to solve them, that it's too late. But there's another way. We are standing on the brink of our maturity as a species. Look at it that way. That we're beginning to realize that we are neither perfect nor omnipotent. In other words, as they used to say back in the day, we ain't all that. We ain't all that. And so, do we stand on the precipice of a new, Handmaid's Tale, maybe a Star Trek universe, let's say? Or are we standing on the precipice of our own destruction? Just as your cells do, right? Before and after a cancer diagnosis. Perhaps we can unite ourselves. That was the meaning of religion, right? To yoke, to join together. Perhaps we can unite ourselves into a single body of humanity, and then we can go forth and help the earth in the next step of evolution. If we look to the lessons of evolution, we will gain hope that a newly formed worldwide body of humanity, we can start not worrying about China and competition. Maybe we can start learning how to cooperate instead of competition. It's just a thought. The systems are already invented, they're already there. We just need the will and the motive to get off our butts and do this. For scientists who shudder at my anthropomorphism, and I understand the hesitancy, just look what happened with the concept of God and religion. Let's not forget that mechanomorphism or mechanomorphism, that's really no better. That's really no better. The leading philosophers of our day, they recognize that the very foundation of our knowledge is quaking, it's trembling. They understand that the nature of looking at life and the cosmos as a machine, it can't be upheld. I love this quote by Upton Sinclair. It's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on him not understanding. Cynical, but you get my drift. For those who hopelessly cling to the old paradigm that all human life will break down without the knowledge of nature's as a machine, they fail to see what our children see. They were just here. They fail to see, Ray Charles can see it. They fail to see what the blind can see, that hummingbirds and flowers do what they do, that nature does very well in ignorance of human conceptions of how we think it should work. So be of good cheer on this Mother's Day. This does does not mean we need to go back to living in log cabins, yet mounting evidence from archaeology suggests that we need to revisit these societies based more on because they were based more on cooperation and reverence for life. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey is one of those. The archaeology found there around who and how they worship and that kind of thing. It wasn't about hunter-gatherers, and it wasn't always about competition. And this obsession with technology and death. Life is cyclical. Remember the T.S. Eliot quote, right? We shall never cease from exploration. It's kind of contradictory. But at the end of all our exploration, we will come back to the place we started and know it for the very first time. It seems that our human childhood, which lasted far longer than recent adolescence, was always guided by a nurturing mother goddess, before a cruel and distant Yahweh with temper tantrums, and it was a mess. I mean, before he came along and replaced her influence. And at times, adolescence must be reflected on, so we can grow up and leave childhood. The earth does not need us. We need the earth. And yet, like Mother Earth herself, human beings will always pick themselves up, fall down. We're always going to evolve. I don't know what you think, but this for me is a Mother's Day vision of healing. I wish you all happy Mother's Day. If you don't do it, I hope you can swim. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to get it right. Our closing hymn, ladies and gentlemen. Number 163. Please rise as you are willing and able, for the earth forever turn. Show some love to the maestro and to Alison. And thank you all for being here on this wonderful Mother's Day. And let me leave you with these words. If you have found freedom in the world, just go out and take it with you. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may become true. And if you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace. Have a wonderful afternoon.